Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. So yeah, we're gonna get started with Brett from Alien. The kit is called Right and it's from Shankal Studios. I already did not a review, but I did like a little presentation from the kit from one of my last videos. I'm gonna leave links down below for Sean's site and everything if you guys are interested in getting the kit. Still available. Let me show you a couple pictures from his site real quick, so you guys have an idea what it kind of looks like all put together. Go back to my video and reference it and all that stuff like that. But beautiful kit, beautiful kit. I'm very excited to get this one started. I had put it on the side until I can get other things taken care of, and I'm ready for it now. This is gonna probably be a series. I'm gonna try to do things in series now. Do a couple of kits from like the Alien series, and then a couple of kits from other stuff that I have. I can make a series of, because I got a lot of stuff from like a same movie or from same genre or whatever, But I got a lot of stuff from Aliens going on, and I want to hit some of those because I'm very excited to. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and I don't have a whole lot of Alien stuff that I got finished, so I want to do some of them. But I want to get started with this one. It's a beautiful kit. I had it for a little bit. All right, and here's another picture from his site from another angle. Okay, and I have this one already primed. I did a little Zenithal priming just for doing it for the video, but there you go. All right, so I don't know how much done I'm going to be able to get done today, so I'm going to probably film a little bit and then add a little bit more later on because I got a lot of stuff going on today. All right, so I'll do the best that I can. I captured this picture from the web just to get an idea, and I want to show you guys. He has an undershirt that is white, and then he has a Hawaiian shirt, and then his jacket. Okay, and I also was looking for something where I can get more of a good view of his skin tone during the movie. He's in very dark scenes, and right before that moment, before the alien takes him away, and I was trying to find a good skin tone picture where I wanted to see where am I going to go with it. He's light skinned, but he's got a lot of 5 o'clock shadow. He's got hair on his chest. And he's got a lot of shadow going on, and where it probably makes his skin a little bit darker. If you look at some other pictures, his skin tone is a lot lighter. It also could be the film and the environment that he's in and all that stuff like that. So how you want to replicate that, like lighting has a lot of effect on his clothing, on his skin tone, and everything else, and the shadows and everything else. So how you want to go about this is totally up to you. I'm trying to still figure out, I can still put the basic skin tones down first, and then I'll see where I want to go with it afterwards. Okay, so that's how I'm gonna approach it. Okay, I got the colors for the jacket. I have colors to do this Hawaiian shirt, which is gonna be a little bit of a challenge. He doesn't have a lot of Hawaiian shirt showing. Okay, but this is the end of the jacket where this ripple thing is right here on his jacket. That's the end of his jacket. This is all jacket. Now the rest of it is Hawaiian shirt, and then you have a little bit of the undershirt, of the white undershirt, showing here, which is let me show you what it's this part right here, and then a little bit on this side over here, and then it goes down to the bottom here. Okay, those areas, we're gonna worry about those when we get to it, but I just wanted to show you exactly and show you how this thing is going to be laid out and done. He's all ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw down some skin tone first. Okay, and then we're going to do all the other effect stuff on that. All right, so first off, I'm going to start with the Pro Acro. Guys, this is the best paint for laying down your base. All right, Tan Flesh from Pro Acro. And now I do the shadow. Depending also on the person's skin tone, you can use that as a base, or you can use this as a base. And then you can lighten or darken these colors up. Now they came out some new skin tones that I'm going to order. All right, I'm looking to order that probably today. All right, I try to order and we'll test them out here. All right, but I love this paint, especially for the airbrush. This stuff works great. Love it. All right, but I'm going to go with to start, we're going to go with Tan Flesh, Pro Acro, Monument Hobbies. Okay, Tan Flesh. I'm going with my Sotar 2020. All right, old and reliable. And you know how I always do thin out my paints. I use a little bit of flow improver. I put maybe about 1 or 2 drops of that to get started. I use paint thinner. Okay. And then the consistency of milk. I like my paint to have a good flow through the airbrush. And the consistency of milk. Alright. Get that cleaned up right there. And I don't have a formula for this stuff. Everybody knows that. I just put paint in the cup. I think I'm running out of this stuff too. I got a new bottle. Okay. Just mix it and you add thinner if you need it. Alright? About 4 or 5 drops in there. You can test it. You don't want it too thin, you don't want it too thick. And I test it to the side of the cup. You guys can see how you check the flow, how fast it goes down. So you just need just a little bit of thinner. Maybe 1 or 2 drops. I like to mix it this way, just make sure that I get a good mix. Now, if you have paint dry in a cup, don't use this method, all right, because you're going to get all that hard paint mixed in there is going to clog up your airbrush. All right, so what I recommend for that, if you're still adding paint because you ran out of paint or whatever, is just do a backflow. What I do is, so I don't damage the needle, okay, I'll put that there like that. I'll cover it up. Make sure that you put a little pressure to the sides. And then mix it this way. And wait for the bubbles to go down and then you do it again. Okay? And that usually works pretty well for me. I got good flow coming out. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put paint on the hand and on the face. Okay? Not in that order. Alright, so I'm going to try to stay in focus as much as I can. I got that little camera up there so you guys can see a different angle. Or hopefully that's helping you guys out. And I wanted to get at least the base colors down before I got to go out and do anything. So I can come back later and continue. Now don't worry too much about the overspray. All that stuff is going to get covered up. And also remember what I said about the overspray and the hairlines. Don't worry about that either because you want some of that overspray in the hairlines. And like if you have a beard or anything like that, because you can still see skin underneath the edges of the beard or the hair. So when you do overspray, that's way okay to do that, especially around the hairs. All right. Let's make sure we get good coverage. I have to add some more paint to this. It's a big kit. It's a 1/3 scale. It's a little bit of kit. They're a little bit bigger than what I usually paint on the channel. So just a little bit, not too much bigger. It's a nice size kit. sure you get inside those edges of the shirt. In the corners. If you see that paint is wet, you know, move on to a different section. Let it dry out a little bit before you start spraying some more. See, and I'm also not laying down a whole lot of paint at one time either. I'm not like putting a lot of paint. You want to do light layers at a time. And then if you have to go back and put some more down, that's what you do. But don't put a lot of paint all at once. Because then you're going to start getting runs, uneven layers, things like that. Don't forget to do the ears. You want to hit it from different angles too. You want to make sure the paint is getting where you need to get it. Alright. Let's see. Get inside the wrinkles in there. Don't forget that this is going to be done in a bunch of different layers. This is what you're doing. You're just putting down a base. Right now. That's it. Okay. You're not going crazy putting, don't worry about what it looks like right now, because all this is right now is just the base for all the work that we're going to be doing afterwards. Some people like to start darker, some people like to start lighter. I like to start somewhere in between. Okay, that's my method, you know. Other people I see, some other people do those other different ways, and they get great results too. You know, there's nothing wrong with those. You know, I can start with a darker tone, work my way up with the lighter tones. But I found this method for me to be a little bit easier and a little bit quicker too. Maybe it's because of how I use the pastels to do shadows and things like that, you know. But I gotta paint, mix up a little bit more. Because I painted it black, it's going to take a little bit more to get a good coverage. Okay. That was my primer. I used a black primer. The reason why I did it is mostly because of filming, you know. And I think I ran out of gray primer too, so that's okay. I got a lot of new stuff on order right now. I got a new workbench. I'm gonna set up a little filming table. Maybe I can get a little better angle for filming for you guys. You know. If that seems too dark for you guys, don't worry about it, because we're still going to be doing highlights. We're still going to be doing shadows. We're still going to be doing little freckling. Giving the skin tone some realism. go with a little more paint in the chest and underneath the neck area. That's underneath the eyes too. And I still gotta do the hand and these ears. Give me 1 second, let me add some paint. There it is, right there. See what it looks like there. Yeah, for close up, that little camera's not good. There he is right there, guys. That's how much I got done so far. Alright? So. A little bit of flow improver. 1, 2. Paint thinner. I'll do a little bit of backflow. Okay, just use this old towel. I don't push the needle in, I'm squeezing the needle sideways. So what I do is I put this in the front and then I squeeze sideways. I don't push the needle in. Do not push the needle. You don't want to bend that needle. You want to be real careful. Okay? Be real careful with that needle, okay? Okay. So once you bend that needle, then things don't come out right. Because his skin is so textured, the way he sculpted it, you're gonna have to hit this from a couple different angles so you get some good skin tone in there. Okay. See? Now I'm hitting under the chin. Okay. The ears a little more, but it's still a little dark for me. The back of the ears. Just make sure you hit the back of the ears. I always forget that spot. I love this color for base tones. I think it's one of the best colors out there. One that, comes right out of the bottle, you need to mix, that kind of thing. There you go. Nice base tone. I like that right there. Okay. Base tone. Alright, looking good. Alright, so let me grab the hand. There we go. Right behind him. Alright. Make sure you go inside the jacket. It's got some nice veins on the hand. I want to show you how to do some veining. Alright. Same thing with the hand. It's going to get multiple layers of it, different colors. So one thing you want to get rid of that black, because obviously, you know. All right, you're going to do shadow. You're going to do all that stuff. So you're going to be adding all those colors. Try to get rid of as much of that black as you can. Okay. The black primer and. Ran out of paint. You good there? Let me see. Just needs a little bit more. Just want to make sure I get the right color there, you know, you guys. Like that. Just put a little more paint. Just order more floor improver too, and it's still that'll last me for a while. You know, but. I want to run out. Had that for like the whole bottle for like 2 years maybe. I found that I learned a trick from either Calvin Tan. I think it was Calvin Tan. He uses flow improver for brushing, for glazing. And I tried it, and that stuff works really good. So if you want to glaze, and Calvin Tan is a historical miniature painter. You know, he does a lot of military stuff, and he's a very, very good. He's got his own videos and that kind of stuff, and he uses flow improver for glazing. He mixes it with his acrylics, and he glazes with it, which is the stuff that he does is phenomenal. Yeah, I learned that little trick from him. Okay. Just make sure the face is still good. And then we'll move on. Get a quick spray over. Sorry about that. Just trying to get into the nostril, so I'm gonna get a little close. All right. Here. I'm just doing a quick spray over, make sure that I covered everything that I wanted to cover, which I think I did. Pretty happy with it, the way it came out. I'm sure I got enough of color in the ear. They still look a little dark to me. And that's it right there. There you go. All right, let me clean the airbrush, and then I'm gonna. I'm gonna protect it. This is the stuff that I use. I show this every time. UV clear, UV resistant clear. All right, and it's a matte finish. And that's what I use all the time. Every time I finish doing the layer on the kit, I spray over with that to protect it. Okay, very important. Okay, so I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, good morning, everybody. Back. This is a day later from the last time I left. So I did a little change on the smaller camera to see if you guys can get a better picture. Hopefully that'll work. Okay. So the next step, what I did where I left off was I sealed this last night, right before I left, and it's very early in the morning today, so bear with me if I'm a little nasally this morning. So that's usually how I am in the morning. So, but it's early, so the next step to do is do the tinting and freckling. Okay, and you guys know that usually I try with the new system that I've been doing is, I don't know if this was by accident or whatever happened, but ever since I've been using the Krylon UV resistant clear matte varnish, to seal in between layers. I think that's the reason why. But I'm not 100% sure. It could be also the paint that I use. I could do both steps in one. All right, and instead of doing the process like first doing the tinting and then doing the freckling, I could pretty much knock it out both at the one step, which is good because it saves me a step. Okay, so sorry about that. I forgot to get sponges. But here we go. I use these. Okay, let's get those ready to go. I'll leave. These are really cool because you pick up a lot. But I'll leave links to this stuff. This is just makeup sponges. All right, so we're gonna start off with yellow, as usually what I do. Okay, and I water it down. I thin it out really good. It's gonna be like a wash with water. Now, like I said before, I use either bottled water or distilled water for mixing my paints because I have a problem with very hard water here in my area, and I don't know what kind of effect that'll have on the paint. So instead of taking any chances, I use either bottled water or distilled water. Okay, and the first paint that I'm going to use to mix is Moon Yellow. All right, this is Vallejo. Okay, so what I do is I put a couple drops. And the rest is water. Okay, I keep the water like a little. All right. Let me get my mixing brush. In the order I've been putting down these paint for tinting, it's the order that I like to do it. I use the yellow, blue, red, and then some freckle brown. Okay, so that's the way that works for me. All right, so I'm gonna let this dry, and we're gonna seal between coats on this stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna let it dry, and then we'll come back and we'll do the next color. Okay, so I'll be back in a few. Okay, so the next color we're going to use is Drakenhof Nightshade. Alright, from Citadel. And I hate these darn paint tubs that they use. Alright. Okay, just 2 drops. Put your water down. Okay. So he's doing the freckling on the hand, but not on the face. Let's see. You can see some spots on there. For some reason, it's not doing it on the face. That's okay. Alright, so I'm going to let this dry, seal it, come back and do the next step. Alright, let's continue. The next one is the red. Angron Red Clear. Angron Red Clear by side. There we go. Okay. Once again, I'm going to put a couple drops into the water. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that right now. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it dry, seal, and come back and we'll do the next step. Okay. So before we move into the next step, I want to go back and freckle a little bit of blue. And where's my brush? Nope. There it is, right there. You guys can see I gotta. Okay. So I grab one of these angle brushes and I dip it into the color and I do this motion right here. Okay. So I want to go back and do a little bit of blue and freckle that on. Okay. Release some of it to the not on the figure, and then okay. There's some more. Do it all over. I felt that blue wasn't breaking up as well before. Like I usually do, but it's okay. You can always go back and do it over. Just make sure you get coverage on it. And you can dab off any ones that you don't want. If they're too big or it's too many, Just go over with a little Q-tip and dab them off. Okay, it looks very blotchy. That's okay. You want that variation, blotchiness of the skin. Sometimes when it gets cold, when it gets warm, things change in your skin. There's a lot of variation in the undertone. Don't be afraid to lay it down. See that? Okay. Do one more. And then before we move on, I want to show you something that I don't think I have showed you on this channel yet. And that's veining. And I'll show you how to do that. So I'll seal everything all together once I'm done. A little bit. There we go. Alright. Okay. Are you happy with that? Let me do the hand. Just a little bit. Show my camera here. Just really going to worry about the top of the hands mostly. Okay, let me clean this up real quick. All right. A thin, small brush. Let me get this one here. I mentioned the last time, and I'll put the link down below for these brushes. These are cheap liner brushes that I picked up on Amazon, and I'll leave a link down below. Come like 15 in a pack. You get my liner brushes and regular brushes, but they're all small miniature brushes, and they're cheap. It's good to have in your arsenal. Alright, highly recommend them. They keep the point. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do veining, and I do it usually around this step because you don't want it to be too pronounced afterwards. When you've done well your shading, your other layerings, your highlights, your midtones, and all that. So you want to put down a nice strong color now, and then once you start airbrushing all the other different colors, it'll hide it and blend it in nicely after you do all that. Okay, after you do all your shading and after you do all your tones on the skin. So I use the same blue that I use for the tinting, Jankenhof Nightshade, but I'm not going to dilute it. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab some paint right there from the, okay, and you see where the vein is exposed on the hand. Just brush it. You're going to have to do this a couple times. This is a very thin paint. Just get some of the excess out. just paint wherever the veins are. Just the top, okay? Just like that. Alright. There you go. Alright, so. And then you'll see, now a lot of it might not show later on when you do all the blending, but at least you'll get to see some of it come through. You know, get the thicker one. And then if you want to thin it out as it goes, do a nice little thin line as it moves down, okay? You see where it gets thicker and then it gets thinner and it fades out, okay? So this is going to be more pronounced where it's thicker, okay? There you go. Okay. See, not too crazy. And this is a very light paint, very diluted. Okay. It's almost like a watercolor. Okay, check to see if you want to do anything else. I think that's good enough. Let me thin it a little bit here. There. Okay. And then when you do your all your other colors and stuff, that's gonna hide down. That's gonna meld down a lot. It's gonna hide. It's gonna blend in very nicely. It's gonna show really nice effect. Okay. So that's why I did it now, so because I'm gonna seal everything again. I'm gonna do the last step of this process. Okay. There we go. Let me clean my brush. Put this puppy away. Alright, pause, and I'll be back in a few minutes. So now we're going to do no tinting, just freckling. And the one color that I'm going to use now is the brownish color, the Acrylic Earth shade. Okay. And I'm not going to thin this one down too much either. Alright. So I'm going to put some in the... in here. Okay. Oh, there's one more thing that I want to do before I finish sealing this kit for the shading part. And he has a mole, so I do want to paint that mole before we step into the next step. Okay. There we go. Okay. That's what that looks like. My brush. Okay, we're going to let this dry and seal it. Okay? Before I seal it. Alright, let me get that color here. Alright, so I have an Eclipse Gray. It's very dark gray. It's not a black, you know, so. Okay. Let me shake it well. And put some on the palette. Okay. It's a very dark gray. Okay, so we get a nice pointy brush. His mole is right there. Let me make sure that's the right one. Go through my reference picture. That's it. Okay. Very good. So I'm going to get a dab of the gray. Okay. And make sure I get a good coverage on that bowl. All right. Okay. So once you start putting all your other layers, it's going to hide it. You might have to go in there with a glaze, not with a full dab of paint. You want to dilute it if you have to touch it up later on, okay? Because you want to go too strong, make it look like it's an afterthought. You know what I mean? So, all right, put a little bit more on that edge right there. You can see it needs a little bit more. There. That's better. All right. Looks a little big right now, but it'll shrink down once you start laying down all those layers down. All right. All right. Now we can go seal. I'll be back. Okay, let's continue now. So now I'm gonna move on to doing pastels. This pan pastels. Okay. Pan pastels. The color that I'm using here is the red iron oxide. All right, got my brushes. I got one medium brush and a really small brush and the filbert to blend in. Okay. So I'm gonna start off doing that. Okay, and this is mostly for shading. And make sure this is a little dry. Yeah. It's dry. Okay. Very cold outside. Do this outside and it's very cold. Alright, so I'm gonna start off with the hairline. Okay. Watching, so and then we'll blend it in with the filbert brush. Okay, so this is the same stuff that I do in all my skin tone videos. If you guys want to go back and watch all the other ones, the females and the body and things like that. So. So let me blend this in. Okay. Do it towards the hair. You do it sideways here. There you go. And then neckline, blend, shadow. If you're gonna blow, make sure you don't spit. Okay, you don't want to get it wet. Alright. See how I do it towards the hairline? There's the hair. All this stuff right here. Alright. Neckline. Gotta do that nose right there. Crease of the nose right there. Alright, that's good for that face. Let's move on to the hand. Much. Okay. Hit the lines. All right. Get the purple. Go under the eyes. This is just magenta extra dark, what I'm using. Okay. And see how I'm putting it right underneath the eye? Okay. Give that naturally underneath the back of the eyes. So. Okay. Okay. So if any of these things don't show up very well, you can always go back and do them. I just like to do them now because I like to blend everything in together, you know. So now, let me put this away. So now, you start doing is you're going to start adding some more color. So what I'm going to do next is we're going to do a little bit more shading. The color that I'm going to use is Shadow Flesh by Pro Acro Monument Hobbies, okay? And I'm going to go from underneath. Okay, like I usually do down below. I'm just underneath. Alright, right here. Just underneath. Anything very lightly, not too crazy, okay? Well, let me put some of this stuff away real quick. So I don't need this stuff anymore. Let's see. And when I lay down color, guys, you see, I want you to take a look around here. Real quick, I'm going to show you. That's how light I do it, okay? So I'm going to go, don't do that. See how the layers, you do as many layers as you want. You don't want to go too crazy with this. That's it right there. Okay, you see how I trigger? Okay. Just got to practice. You see, the more you put down, the darker it gets. Okay, but that I start off like that, but sometimes that's enough. All right. So real quick, I'll just lay down some color. Right now, I'm aiming at the, and this is how far I am from it. I'm aiming this area underneath the chin. Okay. I'm going behind the ear. Okay. Directly under the chin, under the nose, under the eyes, under the cheekbone. Okay. Turn it under the nose, under the chin. It's very hard because this bulgy thing right here is in the way, but do the best you can. Under the eyes. Okay. Under the cheek. Just do behind the ears. Okay. And here I'll spritz a little bit, you know. Okay. Just add a little color there. Okay, so the effect is, here's your lighter and there's your darker. You can see that. You can see that. Alright? So much better right there. I tried to do that the last time and nobody can really tell. But there you can tell. Okay. Let's see if I can do it with the little guy. There. Okay. Alright. See the color underneath it? That's what we want to capture. Under the skin. On the bottom. Alright, always going to be lighter on top, okay? It doesn't need a lot. That's how it's spraying, right there. Okay? It doesn't need a whole lot for you to get that effect. Okay? Alright. So, let me pause. I'm going to clean the brush and I'm going to switch over to a different paint. Okay, so we're going to switch over to color. We're going to do an overspray. Of the original tone that I put down, which is Tan Flesh. Tan Flesh by Pro Acro. Tan Flesh Monument Hobbies. I think I might have to get a new bottle. I got it stashed in there. A couple drops of flow improver, some thinner. Alright, you're gonna do overspray. You're gonna tone everything down in here now, okay? this is how you're gonna do it. Is there any paint left in there? Yes, there is. Not much, but there's left. Oops. Might have been too much. Yeah, I think it's too much. Dilute that. That's alright. A little bit. Just put a couple more drops of thinner in there. So I went a little thick. That's okay. That's much better. Okay. All right. So same thing, because this is a sea of milk. Very lightly, the same way I did that. Right here. Okay. That's how you want it. Right there. You're gonna do it far away, and you're gonna start spritzing all over. Okay. Do the hands a little bit. Let that dry for a little bit before I hit it again. Don't forget the position of the hand is going to be like this. Up. Like that, okay? See the veins still? You still got to do the highlights, so don't worry if you don't feel like you didn't cover enough. You still got to go with more paint. Same thing with the mole. You see the mole? It's not as pungent anymore. All right? I'll be back. Let me clean my airbrush. I'm gonna do a highlight. All right, so I'm gonna go with the Olive Flesh for doing the highlight. That's not gonna be the ultimate highlight. I still might go with a little bit lighter than that. Okay. A little bit thinner. Let's put some color. Put about 5 drops in there, guys. For those of you that are counting. Okay. That's pretty good. All right, from the top. Okay. All right, I think that's good. Yeah. All right. I think that's good right there. So let me go spray this. Let me see where we're at. And tell us what we need to do and where we need to go. Okay? I think I'm gonna need to go a little bit back and forth here because I'm not 100% sure about the color. Now remember that this larger camera is the true color on him. Alright. And I think he needs a little bit of a tan. Alright. Oh, not 100%. Crazy about the tone that it has right now. So what I'm going to try, if I have to go back and forth doing this, it's fine. You know, it's a learning curve for everybody here. Alright, so what I usually do when I get something that I'm not happy with too much with the tone, when it's too bright or whatever, I have a couple things in my arsenal here that I tried before and it came out pretty well. Let's see what happens now. Alright. So I haven't tried this, I haven't used this method in a while. But usually what I do is I'll use from Garage Kits US transparent natural flesh. Now, the trick with this stuff is that you do it very, very lightly and from far away. You just want to give it a nice little tone. You don't want to go too crazy with putting too much color into this because this will, you know, you're going to have to redo the whole thing if you go too crazy. Okay, and this has happened to me. So I'm just telling you from experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you real quick how we do it. Here in this bottle here, this is thinner, but with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol in it. Alright. And I use it just for Garage Kits. I got a GK right there, okay? And I'll put a drop or two of Flow Improver. Alright, and then I'll put some of this stuff in there. Alright, just so you see. Very little. And this stuff you got to mix very well because the pigments, they do lay down on the bottom. And I've been mixing since even before I got on. Okay. So make sure you mix it very well. These are very good paints. If you want to go, I'll leave a link down below. And I'm just going to use like 3 drops. And just test it out, see how that works. Okay. Like I said, this is very pungent, very strong. Even though it says transparent, look at the color. Okay. And I want you to look at, I'm going to put the spray down, I'm going to put it down right here. Okay. I do this from far away, and I give it just an overspray. Pss, 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 pss. One time. I'm starting off on the side. Just one time. Not too strong. And what I said about light layers. Alright. That I'm liking better. I might have to do a little bit more highlights here, but that's okay. Now, I think I'm going to go in with the pastels to do that. Okay. That right there I like. And I did it one time. Okay. That's the effect that I like. It gives it like a little bit of more of a natural color to the whole kit. Alright. See that? Okay. Let's show you the hand. The hand, I think it needs it too a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to start right here so you have an idea. Maybe you can see the change in color. Right there. It might not look like much, but it is. Alright, it's going to be a little highlight. I'm going to seal it. And that's it. I don't want to do any more. You see? Just give it more. Gives it more like a translucent, natural flesh color. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to seal this. We'll highlight a little bit maybe with pastels when I come back. Maybe. Okay. Okay. So first thing I want to do is I think I have a little bit too much purple underneath the eyes right now. So what I want to do is I want to lighten it up a little bit. And I'm going to use a red iron oxide tint, which is a pinkish tone. Okay. It's not the reddish tone. All I want to do is I want to lighten up the purple underneath the eyes. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dab a little bit of the pinkish tone color here, just to lighten it up a little bit. Okay. And then we'll blend it in. Okay. And I don't want to make that too purplish looking. It looks like a zombie right now, you know what I mean? Okay, so blend that in. Make sure I got dark colors out of there. There we go. Let's do that again. A little bit more. Just a little bit more on that. And all I'm doing, I'm not brushing it and I'm dabbing it in. Alright? Because I just want to lighten it up a little bit. That's all. I still want to hold some of that purple showing through, but not too much. Alright? Yeah, just blend it in. Alright, and that's a lot better right there. Okay, it's not as strong. Okay. Way better right there. Okay. Still purple shows throwing through a little bit, which is good. Okay, so now, that's my stomach. I don't know if you can hear that. It's going crazy. Alright. Get that smaller brush just in case I need that. Wow, my stomach is going crazy. I don't know why. Alright, so this is, I don't need this anymore. That for now. And I'm going to use titanium white. Alright, to highlight some of the areas. Alright, let's not go too crazy with it, but you know, let's just do the bridge of the nose. Okay. Titanium white. That's how white it is. All you want to do is just highlight those areas that the overbrushing took away. Alright, look up there on top of that cheek. This cheekbone. Don't go too crazy because you don't want to make it look weird, you know. Just certain areas. The top of the eyebrow right here. Don't forget that he has the brim of the hat, so you don't have to go too crazy here. You want to keep that a little bit dark, but you want to differentiate it from. What I do want to do is this. Very pronounced. Okay. All the raised areas, you see what I'm doing? Just adding a little bit of color. Alright, just highlighting it. Okay, see what it's doing? We're going to blend that in. The neck. This is going to be a little hairy down here, so still want to maybe just highlight just a little bit. Alright. Same thing with the ears. Anything that's bumpy, raised. The thing with pastels, you might have to do this a couple times. Okay? Because even when you spray over with the sealer, it'll, you know, it'll probably get rid of some of it, so you're gonna have to go over it again and until you're happy with it. Alright. So it's 5 o'clock shadow here all over this area, so we still gotta do that. Okay. Bumpy, raised areas. All right. All right, so I'm gonna grab my filbert, wipe it down real quick. Okay. Slightly blend it in. See how the mold's not so pronounced now? Oh, nice. So this will blend in better once you spray it. Okay. There you go. Once you spray it down, blend in a little better. Okay. I see something. Yeah, that's it. And also when you start to paint the hair and everything else that's around it, like the eyebrows and everything, you're going to see everything coming around together a little bit better. Alright, so don't fret, my friends. Okay. Knuckles. Okay. See what a difference that makes? Okay. Alright, let me go spray this down and I'll be right back. Alright, so let's start brushing the hair, painting the hair. So I'm going to use black from Scale Color. Black. Alright, so I'm going to use a little bigger brush just to get the bigger areas. Dilute it down a little bit. Where's my trusty old mixer brush? Just to get a good coverage. Alright, I'm going to go black, but I am going to highlight with a dark brown. Alright, just want to get good color, no shadow areas and stuff, so. Alright. So, let me get a little closer. Sorry, guys. Alright, so I'm getting here. So I'm using a liner brush. It's really thin and long and pointy. Okay. Make sure you brush the hairs in, especially this size scale. Okay. And what you can do is, I'm starting off with the black, and you can come back in and do the brown that I'm going to use for the hair. Alright, and you can add a couple more lines to it if you want. Alright, I want to give it a little bit more realism, brush the hair in. That's why you seal, guys. You see what I just did? I'm just putting the black in the eyes right now. And then later on I'll come in and put in some color and the whites and stuff. So. Okay, it's a little rough right now. I still might use stickers. There it is. The eyes, you know what's easy? Is the eyes were already outlined, which is nice. I don't know if I like it or not, but you know, figured I'd give it a try. All right, we're getting somewhere there. Okay, it's starting to look like a kit. All right, let me let this dry. Okay. If the eyes look a little iffy, sorry, I was off. I had my reference picture up the whole time. So if the eyes look a little iffy there, I can always fix that by adding the white and closing that gap up and all that. But that's just okay. It gives you a good feel to where your skin tone is at once you put the hair and everything else on there. You see? Okay, so what I want to do is I want to let this seal. What I like to do is add a little bit more black into the hat. You see where those little spots are? And you see those spots? So let me do that now. Okay. Guys, I'm going to let it dry. Clean the brush. I'm going to let it dry and then shall return. Oh, just in time. Alright, be back. Alright, so what I want to do next is dry brush some of the hair. And the color that I'm going to use to start off with is from Vallejo German Black Brown. Okay. Or German Camo Black Brown. Okay. If you want the number, it's 70822. Okay. So this is a color that I use a lot. This is my second bottle in a very short period of time. And I just love this color. This color is like a very good color to do black with if you want to highlight a black. Black is, you use a lot of colors to do different things with black, but it's a good color. I love it. You can do it for a lot of things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight the hair with that. Okay. So I got my little from Artist Opus. I'm gonna use their smaller brush. Okay. Actually, this is a medium Artist Opus. I also have a smaller one somewhere, which I would love to use. Here it is. Just in case, pull it out. Just in case I need it. Now this is these are from Army Painter, the ones with the black handle, and they work pretty good too. They're just as good. All right, so hold on a second. Nope. I wish I was. I'm sorry this video is long, but guys, my videos, I try to show everything that I do when I do certain things, especially when there's some new stuff going on. Sometimes I fast forward through them. Now this one, why am I doing this one so long in particular, is because there's a lot of stuff that, was involved with this one. There's some new stuff that I tried out, and I don't think I'm going to edit this one, okay? I don't think I'm going to either speed it or anything like that. There's a couple areas that I want to edit because I was on the phone, things like that, but nothing that I worked on is going to get edited out. So, alright, I think I'm going to leave this incomplete. Fast forward, go wherever you want on this thing. You don't have to watch the whole thing if you don't want to, or listen to me babble or whatever, but I like when people are looking for material to learn how to paint, they at least know exactly what I'm doing. And I'm not doing it in the background, like mixing the paint, using the pastels. Let them see how I do it, step by step. So this way people are not intimidated to try to do new things, okay? So I'm going to lightly brush this brown over the hair. And then I'll go in and touch up some of the edges that still need to be messed around with, okay? With the brown. Okay. But very lightly, I'm going over that black, okay? And I'm highlighting with the brown. So essentially what I'm doing is just giving him a very dark brown here. Alright. And the black underneath is acting as a shadow, I guess. You know. So I get rid of a lot of this paint. Okay. Just so you guys can see what I'm doing. Let me put this back here. Just like that. Okay. And then very lightly I go over this whole hair. Okay. Sometimes you can go over same areas that you have done before, and if you want to give it a little bit more of a brown look, you can do that. Just go over it again. Okay. If I go over the black, I'm not too worried because I can always touch that up. Alright, it's just the skin tone that I'm worried about. Okay, so I try to stay away from there. Alright. Get in there. Get the brown in there. Okay. Get a little bit more paint. Okay. Those hairs that are sticking up, you definitely want to get those. Like it's all the hair that's curling up behind them. Definitely hit those a couple times. But I'm hoping you can see the difference. You can see the difference. It's not as white as like whitish it looks like, but it's not white. It's not the paint coming off. All right, it's just the highlight of the brown in there. Okay. I love the effect that it does because it just like tones that black down quite a bit. If you can tell the difference between the hair and the hat. Alright, you see how it just tones it down? Alright, just like gives it a little more mellow look. as much as you want. Wherever makes you feel happy. Okay? I'm almost at that point. Alright. Alright. See my reference picture real quick. Just take a quick look at it. Make sure I'm where I want to be. Yeah, see every picture that I see, he has very dark hair. Yeah, every picture that I see here is very dark hair. Alright. Alright, so next, let me clean my brush real quick. I can always go back and do a little more if I have to. Okay, move these out of the way. What I want to do next is dilute this brown a little bit. And I'm going to do the eyebrows and touch up some of the hair. Okay. So put a little bit of water into the brown. Depending on how much paint you got in there, is either 1 or 2 drops of paint. You don't want to do a lot. Alright, you just want it to flow off the brush a little bit better. I'm going to get my liner brush. Okay. Let's hit those eyebrows a little bit. Alright, the eyebrows really black, so I'm going to do a little bit of brown in there. Just, you don't have to do a lot, just do a little bit. Right? Just to change it up a little bit, just to highlight it. Okay. Same thing on the other side. See how I'm spreading it out just a little bit wider. Okay. Hold on. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to paint the eyes brown. I'm going to do brown eyes. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to try to, excuse me for a second. I want to try to keep a black edge all around the eye. But try. Let me see what I can do. I'll let that dry. I'm gonna seal it, and then maybe we'll finish up the eyes and excuse me. We'll finish up the eyes and then we'll do a Flower Clock shadow. All right, the shading, and then some shadows in the chest hairs. All right, and that should bring a lot of him together to where he needs to be. Okay, I'm still thinking about doing a little bit more brown, but I want to seal this first. So I'm gonna make sure that the sealer wasn't the stuff that was messing this up. All right, all right.